We're driven by the search for better. But when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't to search at all. Don't search, match with Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform with over 350 million global monthly visitors, according to Indeed data, and a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. Ditch the busy work. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging so you can connect with candidates faster. Leveraging over 140 million qualifications and preferences every day, Indeed's matching engine is constantly learning from your preferences, so the more you use Indeed, the better it gets. Join more than 3.5 million businesses worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent fast. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/Blue Wire. Just go to Indeed.com/Blue Wire right now and support our show by saying that you heard about Indeed on this podcast. That's Indeed.com/Blue Wire. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed.
Let your imagination soar with Audible. With stories across every genre, from expert advice to fantasy, you'll be inspired to imagine new worlds, possibilities, and ways of thinking. Listening can even lead to a positive change in your mood, habits, and overall well-being. As an Audible member, you'll get to choose one title a month to keep from their entire catalog, including bestsellers and new releases. Allow yourself to delve into the spooky this season by listening to classics like Stephen King's The Shining and Pet Sematary. There's more to imagine when you listen. New members can try Audible free for 30 days. Visit audible.com/imagine or text imagine to 500-500. That's audible.com/imagine or text imagine to 500-500.
I'm down to only 10 Chrome windows, but I need all those.
Do you?
Yes, they're my emotional support windows. I can't. If I close them, I will die.
Jesus!
Okay, we definitely clipping this.
Well, that's the cold open. That's fine.
No.
Yep.
No, because, I mean, by the time the podcast comes out on Tuesday.
Yeah,
Sickos
let's
today
not play with
killed-
that.
No.
Oh, that would be the best
No.
call shot ever.
No.
To be clear, we here at the Sickos Committee appreciate.
Yeah, keep them alive. That's why I'm not closing my windows. You're welcome.
God, this is out in the world now, isn't it?
Welcome,
Okay,
everyone, to the Sickos Committee Podcast.
Oh,
This is our
God.
podcast for the evening of October 6th, 2024. I don't know how much of that cold open Arthur's going to leave in because it was real good. But we'll go from here.
I don't know. I wasn't paying attention.
I know,
You're
that's
gonna
fine.
find out.
We're going to find
That's
out when
cool.
you listen and editing. Oh, my God.
It's cool. My windows are open.
I'm going to be terrified for 2 days now.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Folks, we had a wild and woolly weekend of college football. We saw Titans burn. We saw idols be built up. We saw Berkeley turn the fuck out for game day.
Yes, we did.
As always, I'm Jordan. With me tonight, I have Commish, Pitt Girl, and special guest Kevin. Kevin, how are you, sir?
I am good. We were on bye, so won the bye week.
Oh,
And-
Arthur also on the ones and twos. My apologies, Arthur. I missed that part. Pitt Girl, how are you?
I'm good. I visited a bookstore that has bookstore cats over the weekend. And the cats are very soft and very friendly, and it was very good.
There we go. Commish?
I'm doing great.
Yeah, you are.
Bet your ass I'm doing great. Let's fucking go.
So can we? I'm fucking turned. Are we turned podcast?
Yeah,
I'm
we
fucking
are.
Turned. I am turned.
I am here. I am here because God told me to be here. I saw a vision of this. Vandy's fucking turned. 1,
Vandy.
2, 3. That's how you give a fucking post game conference. Also, Alyssa Lang getting over there to do that post game conference, she hauled ass across that field.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, she did.
It's a little funny to me when people thank God, not because like you shouldn't thank God or something. I'm not one of those people, but I watch a lot of motor racing, like especially NASCAR. So like in college football, I don't think there's a real like list of like, oh, make sure you thank this, and this, right?
Mhm.
Like they're not coaching you on like, gotta thank your family, gotta thank the fans, like,
Gotta thank your sponsor, DuPont.
right. Like
Yeah.
in NASCAR, like you win the race, you're coming in to get ready to, park the car on the start finish line, step out, do your interview. Your crew chief or someone is on your headset being like, like make sure you thank Goodyear, make sure you thank NASCAR, make sure you thank your sponsors, make sure you thank other partners that we have, maybe not on the car this way. Like they are reminding you over and over again, make sure you thank your manufacturer. There's all sorts of things. And it's just funny to hear in like college football, because it's like people are thinking like I guess we got to thank God, right? Like God's in there, like, but it's not like a very like rehearsed thing. Like it's much more organic.
The beautiful part on this one, we'll get to it later on, wasn't just I'm thanking God. It's God showed me this. I saw this in a vision. I'm here at this moment in this spot for a purpose.
I mean, look, I would not be lying if I said that Diego Pavia is the only one that got to see the vision from God of Diego Pavia beating Alabama. I'm just saying. Some of us, like, it's a privileged club. You got to be on that level. But, I mean, some of us did see it coming.
Diego Pavia, college football prophet.
God, Diego and the multicolored poncho. Like, he's going to start telling about my dreams. This whole weekend was started. It felt very surreptitiously for us that Western Kentucky decided to drop their helmets for like 2 weeks from now.
Well, I mean, they play in the middle of the week.
Right. Well, because so they were off this weekend, which is what made the release a little weird. But they dropped their Big Red Eyes helmet. And holy shit, it looks so good.
It's magnificent.
Western Kentucky, if you're listening, we saw the baseball caps with the eyes.
I need 5. Give me 5.
We're going to need at least 5 of those.
Need at least 5, maybe a few more.
What if you made bucket hats with the eyes?
Oh my God. Ooh. Beth would just lose her damn mind. The shirts look great that are just the red shirt with the eyes.
Did Diego Pavia see the vision through Big Red's eyes?
I bet.
I mean, we put that out. We put it out this weekend. Like, here, if you need your own set of Big Red's eyes, here you go. Here you go. And Diego put them on.
They should put the Big Red Eyes on a billboard like The Great Gatsby.
I'm stuck on Big Red Eyes on a women's shirt.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Just take a minute to picture that in your head, listener.
I love the fact that
it's a little lopsided.
Yeah, most are.
Yeah, that's how that works.
Sorry, my eyes are down here.
My lefty's always bigger than for me. My eyes are always bigger. Here. My lefty's bigger. It happens. The best part about this was that. So 2 weeks ago during game day, I screen capped Nick Saban with his pointer pointing at something, and Twitter asked for that. I'm not going to give Twitter that because I know that the first thing is like Twin Towers collapsing. I know that's how the internet works. So I didn't do that, but I gave the internet Big Red's eyes. And folks, y'all did great work. Thank you. Because I got a couple of ideas and y'all just provided the rest. What I love to see. And I didn't. Nope. Never mind. Not going to put that out on the internet. So I'm just not going to say those words. So it started with that. And then we rolled into the Calgorithm's greatest show. They turned the fuck up.
Yeah, they did.
A lot of our Cal fan listeners were there on the front lines. Lots of sicko Oskies. It was
my God. It was incredible. It just, I mean, just going when game day goes to a school that's never hosted it before, or they haven't been in maybe 15 years or 20 years or something like that. The energy for the show, and I feel like the episode is always just off the charts. It's insane. And I mean, no offense to the SEC schools or the Big Ten schools that get it frequently. I mean, you're good, you're ranked, and it's like, 2 versus 3, and they're going to Oregon versus Ohio State. It's fine. But that's part of like going to those big schools. That's an expectation to have that come there. But when something that is unexpected shows up and you show out like that, it's incredible, Cal. And I was just amazed. I think that was just a must-see spectacle through the entirety of it. So, personally,
what was your favorite part here?
It's got to be the field goal kick.
Okay.
For me,
I would probably agree with you.
It's damn Daniel and the Vans kicking uphill like it was not flat.
Dingy checkered Vans.
The checkered Vans with Kirk Herbstreit just, Pat, the screen cap that I think Jordan, you got.
I grabbed it. It's the best 3 faces.
I mean, you got Oski, McAfee, you got the cheerleaders, you got Herbie.
Herbie looks excited. McAfee looks shocked, and Oski just staring dead straight ahead.
I don't think I've seen
that's
Herbie.
what Oski's face looks like.
That's the best part is you would always prescribe your own emotions to it.
I've never seen Herbie move like that since like he was a QB for.
Oh, he was
Ohio State.
Lightning.
He just, took off. Like he ran the entire distance just celebrating it. And Daniel making a field goal. They donate like $500K to Hurricane Helene recovery. He gets $100K, or no, they donated $600K, and then he get $100K on top of that. Just, I know they gave him the second chance, which, he just put it through like line drive style, but I feel like that energy from that just sent shockwaves through the entire weekend.
Yes.
I know it was crazy on Thursday and Friday. Not
like that. Not like Saturday.
Not like Saturday, though.
No.
But
I think also other things, bullying Nick Saban to change ties.
Yes.
Yes.
That rules.
Was great.
I did love Stanford Steve hating on Cal students.
Yeah.
And then Saban like saying, "Why did you have a Cal girlfriend?" That was phenomenal. It was such a memorable episode of Game Day because typically
we're talking about Game Day.
Yes. Like we don't do it. It's just a formality, and then we go into the games. We maybe screen cap the picks, and then we just go on. Let's start the games. But this was an entire experience, just phenomenal, Cal. I can't even, it's hard to describe how awesome it was for Cal to get this. And it's something that I feel like we do at the committee is like, hey, we are going to explore the depth and breadth of the sport. We are going to find the awesome stories. We are going to find this stuff, and we're going to try to highlight this in a ridiculously fun way, and celebrate every little thing from every little school if we can. And then when Game Day does this, when you take like this big staple of the college football world to do something like this, it's incredible, and it's magic. The algorithm was fantastic. The signs, oh my God.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Everything
I wanted to talk about Cal's sign game.
Yes.
Because maybe so we got a lot of good signs. We had someone bring back the "You people are blocking the library" sign.
Classic.
Back from like 2007, like the dawn of time. That's a good one. I thought
this was a protest killed me.
That one was really good. My favorite one of these was learn from Cap, take a knee. Because that one has layers.
I had that was the one that I was able to screenshot, which was great. But there was, I only do lines of code.
Yeah.
That was great.
The Adams Unused Treaty was a mistake. Yep.
I
deep cuts.
I was a history major and had to Google that one. Very
there was
good.
a spike. There was a spike.
Yeah, the Google
search.
spike on that was
There
beautiful.
was a Google spike on the search, and I was part of that because I had to Google it.
Also, the kid with the sign, or the kid with the notebook that just said "too busy studying, couldn't make sign."
Didn't have enough time to make us. I love. Yeah, it's perfect.
And then we get to our guest picker, Marshawn Lynch, high as hell. Videos of him just smoking up beforehand, rolling on.
It's legal in California.
Getting in the car with, I forget who it was with Game Day.
Is it Jen? I can't remember.
I can't remember who it was, but she goes, "Do you have a license?" And all he does is go, "Hell nah," and floors it. And she's trying to throw like a brand activation, like Skittles. We have Skittles for the kids, and she's trying to throw them, and he is just
Jen Lada, or Lada.
There we go. Sorry. Oh, it was so good. God, it was good. And then on stage, he right next to Nick Saban, just I don't know, man. Oh, it was so good. God, it was good.
Marshawn Lynch and Nick Saban is something I need more of, especially towards the very, very end of Game Day, where Saban was like, on 4th and goal, I would give you the ball.
Yeah, Marshawn Lynch is great. Like, I think it was Slam Ball. Like ESPN had him on the Slam Ball broadcast when they did that a couple years ago.
Great choice.
Like, he's good on the mic. I mean, I think it's cool to see someone from the movie Bottoms on College Game Day. That was a big moment for me. But I like ESPN kind of, they get a lot of crap, rightfully so, I think, for the way they cover college football. Yes. But things kind of all aligned, and that was a great show. It's interesting because like College Game Day, they tend to go to a lot of the same places because that's where like the big game is, right? Mm-hmm. And so for them to be able to go somewhere and still like have good turnout, because that's the thing. Like, I saw a lot of people saying like, man, like they should just go to like random games or something. And it's like, like it has to like all come together, and it all came together for Cal this week until, a certain point in like the third quarter or something, but we'll get to that. Yeah. We'll get to that.
Today's AP poll had some definite panic vibes to it. Again, things we don't usually talk about. Every AP poll person that we follow and that knows us, we're just like, I don't know how to do these fucking ratings. Anything I say is going to make people yell at me. I don't like, there's no place I can put Alabama where I'm not going to get screamed at.
Hey, Ralph Russo leaves and everything just falls apart.
I know. Fucking hell.
Ralph was holding the AP poll space-time continuum together.
You can tell that this was wild because there was a tie for an 11th and a 3-way tie for 18th.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it was great.
Just the ultimate of like, I don't fucking know. Anything below number 3 is just whatever.
So people who were more conscious human beings than I was in 2007, speak on it.
If we get multiple weeks of this, it's got to be like 2 or 3 weeks where a top 5 team goes down.
Okay.
It was 5 out of 6 weeks. It was the number 2 ranking curse.
Yeah.
Where number 2 if you're number 2, you're losing in incredible fashion that week. I mean,
a number
LSU,
2 Boston College, a number 2 USF, a
number 2 Rutgers, Rutgers beats number 2 USF. That's how crazy 2007 was.
Yeah, I remember some of this. I was 12, and I was an Auburn fan then, and I think that's the main reason why I don't remember a lot of this, because Auburn was like tangentially relevant that year.
Right.
The one that sticks out for me as a youth is 2004. I will die mad about 2004, but anyway.
Yeah, Auburn was snubbed, but that's fine.
Well, let's talk about the biggest upset of the week. The one that like we teased the one that we've talked about, the one that we all know we're going to do. JMU 19, ULM 21. Holy shit!
Woo!
Favored by fucking 16 and a half. ULM wins at home. Commish, go.
I saw a tweet from an App State fan that just said, hey, JMU just got Monroe'd. They're finally Sunbelt now. And I was like, oh God, are we that team? Like
you're not, because you're not good enough to be that team.
No, but like we
No. I like this. This. You're the Sunbelt Pitt.
We are the Sunbelt super weapon. Is that what you want to say? But
no, you don't win enough games. You have to win a big one every once in a while. This one.
Yes. I mean, in 2021, the spread against Hugh Freeze's Liberty was 33. And ULM won that game. Which, that was amazing. I think in 2016 or 2017, we beat App State. App State was rolling, and we beat App State like 50-45 or something like that.
Okay.
And so there is, it maybe rises once every 4 years or so, I will say. It feels like one of those plants that doesn't bloom, but like once a year, but like for 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
That a night game in Monroe.
Like Olympics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there was an Olympics this year. But
election year ULM.
Election year ULM. Oh, God.
There
was a president named Monroe, so the Monroe
Local
doctrine
state
strikes.
President has questions.
An I voted button that says I got Monroe'd.
I got Monroe. I mean, James Monroe. James Madison loses to James Monroe.
My God. Oh my God. This is layers.
There it is.
This is fucking layers.
Oh my God. Monroe was 5th, right?
Yes.
And Madison was 4th. Monroe upsets Madison.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know if they serve terms off the top of my head, but I know the order. So it's just...
no. This metaphor falls apart real fast. Hey, keep moving. Keep moving.
Keep on. The Monroe Doctrine. We'll continue.
No one think about what that actually means in this context. It doesn't. Go.
Right, I'm going to talk about the game, and then I'm going to give you... I'm going to talk about the game, my emotions throughout the game. And then I will get into facts after this.
Okay.
So the game did not start well at all. I'm like, okay, this is like my hopes immediately pretty much dashed. I was like, no, this is not going to happen. I'm like, I'm not even going to pay attention to this because it goes touchdown, ULM interception, James Madison field goal. We're down 10-0 immediately. Then ULM goes punt. Then they stop James Madison on downs. So, like, James Madison's in ULM territory at the 22. They didn't want to kick a field goal. They didn't want to do it.
Okay.
Like, okay, we stop him on downs. I'm like, okay, it's 10-0 after 1. Then ULM does this weird drive where they go 10 plays, 26 yards in 5 minutes and 18 seconds.
That's not a lot of yards in 10 plays.
It's 5 minutes and 18 seconds, which may or may not be accurate, whatever. I'm like, okay, we punt. James Madison goes 3 and out. They gain no yards. They punt. And then all of a sudden, ULM takes over at the 50 at this point.
This is the turn.
Then here's a 38-yard touchdown run out of nowhere. Like, just, they hit him with the run, and I'm like, okay, well, maybe we got a little hope here. Then James Madison, I'm like, okay, so it's 10-7. They punt. But the punt takes a weird bounce. Like, the ULM returner tries to get out the way. The punt takes a weird bounce, and he's trying to move his hand out of the way. It was almost like a handball in soccer. Like, he's trying to move his hand out of the way because it takes an awkward hop, and it hits his hand, and James Madison recovers. And they're at ULM's, like, 20-something. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. This just happened. They're at ULM's 20. I'm like, oh, crap. There goes. That's it. I'm like, what's going to happen? But 2 plays later, ULM gets a scoop and score for like 80 yards.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, holy shit, we're in the lead. They're in the lead. Like, what is going on? Then, James Madison drives down, gets a field goal. So it's 14-13 at halftime. And I'm cautiously like, okay, this is setting up for heartbreak. This is gonna hurt. This is gonna hurt.
You were so down and out in the group chat, like just like this is done. This is over. 1 point loss. I know what this is. I've seen it.
It's here it comes. Here it comes.
So like, I thought I had this experience as a Pitt fan of the impending doom and knowing that it's coming. I was wrong. Because I was the one in the chat being like, no, ULM, you can do this.
I know.
I believe in you.
We were having to be so like gung-ho, which is not my usual spot.
I mean, to be fair, I feel like ULM's history does kind of,
Yes.
Oh, 100%. This is earned trauma.
The heart will be ripped out. And last year, ULM had 2 1-point losses, essentially at the last second, in the last minute. And so I was a witness for one at Texas State in San Marcos. So I mean, this is fresh trauma. So I mean, like, we're not even supposed to be here. We're not supposed to be 3-1. We're not supposed to be in this position. We're up by 1.
4-1, my friend.
Well,
4-1 now.
We are 4-1 now. That is correct.
Wild things.
The second thing, second half, punt, and then we stop James Madison on downs again. And I'm like, okay. So they're at ULM's like 37, so it's no man's land. This is like one of those. And then we stop them again. I'm like, okay. Then ULM takes the drive. 11 plays, 63 yards, 7 minutes, 13 seconds, just draining the clock, like just inch by inch, yard by yard. Bam, they hit a touchdown pass because like the James Madison cornerback basically got his feet tangled with himself. And he was open in the corner end zone. It's 21-13. Okay, my hopes have immediately erased here. And then I'm like, oh God. Then in the back of my head, I'm like, they're going to get a touchdown. They're going to miss the 2. And they're going to hit a walk-off field goal. And it's going to be 22-21. James Madison.
Already like painted out.
And I was like, this is what happened with like App last year. I'm like, oh my God, no, please no. And everybody's like, y'all are all in the chat. ULM, take my energy. ULM, take my energy. Take my energy. Beth was fighting through just incredible migraines, which she's not here on the podcast. And just on dark mode, like saying, ULM, take my energy. So she's basically barely alive.
Beth. Yeah. Beth is air quotes watching this game via Jordan and I describing it to her in the group chat on dark mode on minimum brightness.
Yes.
Because she is invested in ULM doing the thing.
Yes. So ULM gets a touchdown. It's 21-13, 8-point lead. I'm like, okay. I almost wish they would have went for 2 and tried to get a 9-point lead.
Yeah.
I was like, I was like, go for 2. And then it's just 7. I was like, no, make them do the 8. But then I'm like, okay, you leave that risk again of that 1-point loss. I was like, okay, fine. Immediately, JMU strikes back straight down the field, 15 plays, great drive. It's 21-19. I'm like, they stopped the 2, which was like, I just knew I knew James Madison would not get the 2. Like as soon as they scored a touchdown, they're not scoring the 2. It's not happening. The Monroe gods will not allow ULM to have a tie game or something like that. Nothing like that. So ULM gets the ball back. 3 plays, 2 yards, punt. Then I was like, damn it. They only barely took a minute off the clock. JMU again goes 6 plays, 18 yards. They turn the ball over on downs again. I'm like, all right. So ULM has the ball at JMU's. This is like what really pissed me off.
Okay.
So ULM takes the ball over, and then immediately I'm like, you can run the clock out here. You can grind this out. You can do it. It's a minute 33 left. James Madison has all 3 timeouts. So
I like times out.
Times out. I think they had 2 timeouts at this time. I'm sorry.
Times out.
ULM gets the first down. I'm like, yes, it's over. And I'm like, oh shit, holding. And then false start. I'm like, shit, now it's 1st and 25.
Mm-hmm.
Son of a bitch. We're back at JMU's like 49. They get the ball. I'm like, crap, we got to punt it back to them. So great punt by our Australian punter. JMU starts at like the 14. And 4th and 10, 7 seconds left. They stop them. There's no crazy, James Madison didn't get close. They got to their 33 and that was it. And it's pandemonium.
It's great.
Monroe, we kneel it. It's done. Kneel down by General Booty.
Hell yeah.
The only snap he played.
The only snap he played of the game. The General, salute to him. The only snap he played of the game, he took the kneel down because he's comfortable under center. So, I mean, really, takes the kneel down, does it. It's over. They win the game. It's 21-19. ULM is 4-1. Pandemonium in front row. They had 20,000 there in the crowd, which, I mean, Malone only seats like 31 or something.
Oh, good. Oh, it was good.
So, I mean, great capacity crowd there. And honestly, I'm looking back at the stats of this game. The only thing that stands out to me the most is that James Madison won 1 for 5 on 4th down. That
was like, they were getting big chunk plays when they were getting it. They didn't have any 3rd downs. Yeah. Oh god.
Well, they had 16. They were 7 for 16 there, but they had.
I'm sorry. My bad. 4th. Sorry.
But yeah, like they had way more yards. The post game win expectancy, like ULM had a 19.7% chance of winning that one, which is incredible. And this is ULM's first 4-1 start since 1993.
Woo! Feels like 93 again.
Feels like 93. All right, let me give you some 1993 facts. So I'm going to go real quick here.
Yeah, hit me with those.
ULM has never started 4-1 in FBS. The last time they were 4-1 was their last season in FCS.
Okay.
In 1993. They defeated Northwestern State to go 4-1 on October 2nd. And they won 26-24 in Malone Stadium. Another 2-point win. Lining up. They finished that year 9-3. Second in the Southland Conference. They lost to Idaho in the first round of the FCS playoffs. So let's go ahead. 1993 facts for ULM. The last time that they were 4-1. Here we go. I was 12. I think I was in 6th grade or 7th. Who knows? 1993 song at the time. It was Dream Lover by Mariah Carey. That's right. Done. The top movie at the box office that weekend was Malice, starring Alec Baldwin and Nicole Kidman. But hey, since it was a 2-point win, since it was a 2-point win, right? We only care about number 2 here. The number 2 movie that weekend was Cool Runnings.
Oh, I know that one.
Classic.
Feel the rhythm, feel the rhyme. Get on up. It's Warhawk time. It's Warhawk time. That's right. Monroe, baby. The movie that replaced Malice the next week was Demolition Man. So shout out to
hell yeah. I was going to say, just to look up, I looked up my favorite movies from 1993. Like, we don't make movies like that anymore. Like, in addition to Demolition Man, 1993 gave us a movie called Striking Distance, where Bruce Willis plays like a Pittsburgh River cop. It's an action movie. Hard Target, of course, where that's a good one. Cliffhanger.
Yeah, classic.
And then some actual good movies too. In the Line of Fire, The Firm, The Fugitive.
The first Jurassic Park came out.
Yeah, like we don't make them like we used to.
No,
just thinking about River Cops.
River Cops, that's right. 1983 gas prices $1.11 a gallon. Eggs 91 cents a dozen.
Woo!
White bread 75 cents a pound of white bread. Milk half gallon $1.39. Top TV sitcom Home Improvement.
Yeah.
Number 2 was Seinfeld, because that's what we're talking about. Weird trends for 1993.
Oh, God.
Sun-dried tomatoes were all the rage in 1993.
Those are good.
Guess what hit the market in 1993?
What?
The Beanie Babies.
Oh, okay. God. Okay. Commish, I'm glad you enjoyed this one. That was amazing. Woo! I guess we should talk about another underdog win
I guess this was kind of a big deal. I don't
It's
know.
probably it rivals ULM's.
It
win over
was a
James
surprise to some people.
Yeah.
Alabama 35, Vandy 40. Arthur, were you our prognosticator?
I all I said was this was a trap game. Honestly, like if
Vandy's like, hey, what's up? Hello.
Yeah, like here's what I would say. Like, if I could, like, I wish I could smoke a cigar while we talk about this game, just like basking in on, how I called it, right? I mean, so I'm gonna have to make do with something I found in a drawer that I think still works, but
oh my god.
So no,
we're
I
sweet vapes now. Hell yeah.
Sickos Committee vapes.
I had been looking for a game to declare a trapped game for a while, right? I mean, just because I basically just wanted to do something with the meme from the movie Trap, which came out this summer. And like the past few weeks I've been looking, and this was the one that jumped out at me as like, oh, okay, we know what's happening here. I look at these games and I try to say, like, forget like, oh, who's gonna win? Like, what is the scenario where this team wins? And I could see a scenario for Vanderbilt. That scenario, of course, was Diego Pavia going off, and they aren't good at stopping Alabama's defense, but they just outscore them.
Okay.
And that's kind of how that game went.
It is, but also, did you envision Vandy like beating that ass? Because that's what most of that game was.
Alabama never held the lead in this game.
That's the wild fact about it. And this is, I think, I forget what other show said this, but I'm going to repeat this. This is my favorite kind of Alabama loss. The other quarterback just blacking out.
Yes.
Yeah, this was the SED hurry up that said this.
Okay,
Shout
it
out
was.
to friends of the show.
Okay, that's what it was. This is my favorite kind of Alabama loss when a quarterback just goes fucking nuts. This is Johnny Manziel. Like this is
the Steven Garcia. Yeah.
Yep. It's so every once
Zach
in a while.
Calzada.
Oh god.
Yeah. Let's remember some dudes.
Sickos Committee remembers some guys.
I saw like Diego Pavia doing something. I will fully admit, like what I really kind of envisioned was just that, like Vanderbilt can score, so maybe they can keep it close or like hold the lead for a bit, and I can get the posts off, and then we'll see what happens. Like I honestly didn't really think Vanderbilt was going to pull it off. I just thought it would be like, oh, like Alabama was sleepy at the beginning. Like
I posted at halftime. That, hey, whatever happens in the second half, we still had this first one and it was amazing. Because I know how this goes.
Yeah, this game was a time for me.
Did people try to cold take you after that?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
What's funny is like I love Twitter, that. You can see the number of bookmarks on a post. I don't think you can see who bookmarks it, but I know when I posted the trap meme, I saw like the bookmarks going up, and I was like, oh, like people are gonna try to bring this back, and I guess they could bring it back the other way.
Pitt Girl?
Yeah, this game was a time for me. Because I had some friends in from out of town who were attending a wedding in my neck of the woods, and I volunteered to be their Uber, as you do. And so Pitt had beaten UNC. We'll talk about that later in the show. We take them, and then obnoxiously Pitt boyfriend and I go out for dinner, and then we go to the bookstore that has the cats, and I'm getting texts from people like, look at the Vandy Bama score, and I'm like, I'm sorry, what? And I spent this entire game going, what? And then I get home for like the last like 5 real-time, not clock minutes, but like real-time minutes, and I get to see Vandy like victory formation it, and the Vandy fans tear down the goalposts. And honestly, that was enough.
The goalpost was a glorious thing because of course Vandy wins, we rush the field, and then immediately they start heading to the goalpost. And Commish and I were talking about this a little bit. The hierarchy of big wins in college. There's the we're partying in the stands. There's rush the field. And then there is we pull the goalpost out.
Yeah. I would like to take this moment to appreciate the orderliness of Vandy's field rush also. Most of the Vandy students went down the stairs because the drop's pretty big.
The drop is huge. So we'll talk about another school doing it later in the episode that probably realized it's about 1 foot, 2 feet longer of a drop than you think.
Slightly too much drop, I think.
Yeah, but Vandy, it's like you're probably gonna like blow out a knee, maybe. If
that's a solid 12-foot drop. Like you like lower yourself over the edge, and it's still pretty far.
Yeah.
So
I don't blame them for taking the stairs.
But here's the thing.
I would take the stairs.
But folks, here's the thing. They didn't just get the goalpost. They took it for a walk.
Yeah, they did.
They did. Yeah, they did.
Took it through Nashville, down Broadway, into the river. Hell yeah. With a police escort.
Well, I mean, of course.
They earned it.
No, the police were like, no, man. We got these people with goalposts coming through. Somebody said this reminded them of a bunch of ants moving a potato chip.
Yes.
I think there was a tweet. I can't remember who it was.
Did you see whose car got hurt by this and was a good Samaritan? The Nashville Predators head coach.
Oh my God.
God bless.
Apparently they dinged his car, so he got out and just cheered and got his hand on it, like helped him move it.
Aww.
Yeah.
That's going to be, hey, talk about insurance claims. How did it happen? Well,
Vandy beat Alabama for the first time.
Somebody who's watched football for the last 5 years doing the claim, like, no fucking way. I know Vanderbilt football. This didn't happen.
There's not, and then they look at it, it's like, okay, Google is lying to me.
It's gonna circle act of God.
I'm it just immediately you refer this to like the special investigations. There's no way Vandy beat Alabama. This is a fraudulent claim. There's no way this happened. A goalpost on Broadway? Fraud. This is definitely fraud.
The other post-game thing I want to talk about is with this game is, do you remember what happened the last time Vandy played at home? They scored 59 points on Alcorn State and ran out of fireworks. And they're posting on the scoreboard and the Jumbotron, don't worry, we'll buy more for the next game. And everyone got their jokes off at the time that the next game was going to be Alabama and they'd probably buy too many. They wouldn't need all those fireworks. Yeah, I don't think they bought enough fireworks.
They did not bring enough fireworks.
One other thing that's worth noting about this before we hop off it, besides Diego Pavia's interview, is whoever's running the like stadium PA and Jumbotron playing the clip of Nick Saban saying that Vandy's an easy place to play, while the stadium is like 75% Bama fans. That shit's art. Thank you.
I want to give a few shout outs of this game. So real quick here. Vandy won the longest scoring drive of the week.
Of course they did.
This is going to be in the Substack that comes out on Monday. So if you, it's the free Substack. Vandy had a 17-play, 75-yard drive that took 9 minutes and 50 seconds. Mm-hmm. That was the longest scoring drive of this entire week. So Vandy did it. This is when they took the 20-7 lead, and I was like, okay, can they keep this? By the way, Alabama only had the ball for 17 minutes and 42 seconds.
Oh, no time at all.
So this one drive was over half the time of possession that Alabama had in this game. This one drive, which incredible, Vandy. Vandy's post-game win expectancy, 1.8%.
Oh, yeah, no, you don't win a game like this any time. No. Not with what they did.
1.8%. They played keep away to the fullest extent, and they were able to pull it out. I want to give a shout out to one of our Instagram followers who kept DMing us. Vandy fan at the game, Joe Bernstein, or is it Joel Bernstein? I can't tell. There's a cursor there. Somebody's got a cursor there, but whatever. Mr. Bernstein, he has a crab emoji. So I could, it's Joel Bernstein perfectly. He says that it took them 5 minutes and 24 seconds to take the goalpost down. That's timed impressive. It. So these weren't like the easy snap ones. These were like the built-in.
These are the ones that fold down. Vandy was not prepared for this at all.
They're not the ones that folded down in Arkansas easily. Nothing like that. I'm going to give a shout out to Diego Pavia. I just want to say this. Like, in 2022, I went to New Mexico State at Florida International in Las Cruces. Diego Pavia was the quarterback for the Aggies, and it was Diego's first game finishing with over a 50% completion percentage. So he had played a few games before, and he hadn't broken the 50% watermark at all in completion percentage for them under Jerry Kill. And I know they lost the game to FIU, but that was his first Division I game that he threw for above 50% completion percentage. It was 50. He was 8 for 14. And just seeing that and seeing this now, witnessing this is incredible, because against Bama, he was 16 for 20.
Yeah.
16 for 20. An average completion of 12.6 yards. And so just seeing that from there to here, crazy. Let's just do some Vandy stats here. 40 points, most versus an AP top 5 opponent in school history. Second most versus Bama all time.
They've only scored like 13 points against Alabama in
the entire Nick Saban tenure. Yes.
Like they'd done that by quarter 1.
They had. They snap an 0-10 streak all time versus AP number 1 teams. They snap a 23-game losing streak to Alabama. They snap an 0-60 streak all time versus AP top 5 teams. They were a 22.5 point underdog, largest upset win for Vandy since 1978.
Yeah.
They are the 6th unranked team to score 40 plus points versus AP number 1 since 1936.
You know what I'm hearing here?
What are you hearing?
Vaunted Vandy offense.
We need the reverb here. It's the vaunted Vandy offense. It's back.
Listen, I want to give a big shout out to not just the Vandy offense, but the play calling, because I think that there are a lot of times when you are leading a game, especially if it's not a game that you maybe expect to win, where offenses, like the people calling the plays, will just be like, okay, we gotta call runs, we gotta kill the clock. And like Vandy didn't do that. They were up 5 at like multiple stretches late in the game, and they still put the ball in Diego Pavia's hands. They let him throw it downfield, and he made the plays that they needed. I mean, that was the biggest thing that happened, because if they don't do that, then Alabama gets the ball back and they have a shot to win the game. And Alabama, whenever they would get the ball back towards the end of the game, they never had a shot because Vandy kept scoring on the other side. And, I think that like I've seen it a lot with teams where it's like you get away with what was working on offense because your situation changed. And they never the situation, you might say like, oh, well, that calls for something, but at the end of the day, the number one thing your offense needs to do is get yards, get first downs, and they did a great job.
The actual conversation to have then is this. Is this the biggest win in Vandy program history?
Yes.
I mean, honestly, one thing that I loved about the games this week is that for the most part, especially the biggest upsets, the ones that we're going to talk about coming up later in the show, is that I think we got to enjoy these games without thinking about context. Like, there are some college football games even this season, but like recently where like it's a great game, but also like while the game is going on, people are talking about like, well, what does this mean for this? And like, what's the outcome going to be at the end of the year for the playoff and things like that. And I'm going to be like, I was not super listening to the broadcast for this game, like on the TV, because I generally have had things muted this year for the commercials. But like, I did not see on the timeline a lot of talk about like, what does this mean for Alabama going forward? What does this mean for Vanderbilt going forward? Like everyone was just kind of enjoying the moment and saying like, yeah, like this is a fun game. This is a special result for Vanderbilt. And that's all it really needed to be.
Yeah, but that's not what I'm asking though. I'm asking in the pantheon of Vanderbilt games, is this it?
Yes, I think it has to be this. Like the last time I can think about Vandy and like thinking about good Vandy, right? Is like James Franklin Vandy back in the way long ago when I found James Franklin somewhat likable because good Vandy is likable, right?
Like
But I
fighty
can't
Vandy.
fighty Vandy, spicy Vandy. I can't think of a win with this scale or context, even when James Franklin was the head coach at Vandy. Like they were good, but good Vandy was like 9-3 and still lost to Alabama, right? This is
Well,
enormous.
they don't play Bama. So the good James Franklin year, we'll just
Right.
say that.
But also, they have a 23 game losing streak to Alabama. So
Yeah.
he probably did lose to Alabama at some point while he was coach at Vandy. He was there long enough that he probably played them. Like,
Yeah.
I would have to check. But also,
Spicy Vandy never took down a giant. They
Right.
sort of ate their way up the food chain, and like if you were having a meh year, they'd grab you.
they did Kentucky things
Yes.
when they were spicy.
But this was just a beatdown. And that's what makes it beautiful. And Vandy, show your gold. Like this was it. I hope that this one lasts forever because fuck, you gotta play Kentucky next week.
Hey man, that's a trap game.
It's a trap game for Vandy. Yeah, riding high. I mean, Vandy's 4-1.
Yeah. Two games away from bowl eligibility, and they got two on the schedule they can win at least.
I'm sorry, Vandy's 3-2. I apologize.
Okay. Still 3 games? Hell yeah.
They lost to Mizzou in double OT. So
let's talk about one that didn't end up being. It was so close. Miami 39, Cal 38. Basically a 25-point comeback in the very end. Yeah, Cal. This is just,
babe.
You can talk about the refs all you want, but refs don't blow that big of a lead.
Okay, no.
I know. You're gonna come at me with this one. It's fine.
I am gonna come at you about this. So it is true that Cal should not have let Miami back into this game. That is true. It is also true that there were definitely one, arguably two, bad calls at the end of this game that mattered, that are independent of the fact that Cal let Miami back into this game. You can argue about the targeting call. I think reasonable people can disagree about the targeting call.
Yes.
Reasonable people cannot disagree about the illegal man downfield on the last Miami touchdown.
Yes.
They had two linemen well more than 3 yards downfield, which should not be happening. And I understand that doesn't normally get called, but like, man, that shit was bad. And between
I'm not going to make an excuse for the refs there, but they were on the 5-yard line. So like, I feel like the refs are just like whatever at that point, which is ridiculous.
But
which
they
is
shouldn't
stupid.
be.
They shouldn't be. Yeah. It's just like they're so close to the goal line. I'm like, I feel like that's something that they, when you get that close, they kind of ignore it, which they shouldn't. But I don't know. I'm not making any excuses for the refs, though. They were not. Again, I said, yell at us for the bad calls. We can't change the refs and the calls. We don't have that power, at least not yet, to change calls.
I'm gonna make an old like super simple HTML website. It's just a text box and a submit button.
We need the screaming website that Beth suggested. This scream into the void website. Mm-hmm. Upset about the call? Here you go. You can type whatever you want. We won't track it.
Yeah, the thing that I want to say about this, outside of everything, is that I understand after the last couple weeks why people are convinced that there is an ACC conspiracy in favor of Miami in particular. I think friend of the show, Spencer Hall, is correct in that assuming that ACC refs are competent enough to do an organized conspiracy is stupid. They are not. However, my spicy take, yeah, this is me going full Stephen A. Smith saying but.
But
I think there is an argument to be made that there are ACC officials who have a conscious or unconscious bias towards the name brand programs in the conference that leads towards these things happening. Am I mad about the 2021 uncalled safety during the Pitt Miami game? Yes. Yes, I am. Don't at me.
There you go.
I mean, I think that anytime you try to talk about refs as the reason that you lost a game, like, don't put yourself in that position, you know?
Right.
Like,
but two things are true.
I guess. I don't know. I'm someone that, like, I don't like talking about refs just because, like, I feel like that's a part of the game. Like, we got human refs. They're not always going to be perfect. And, you know, you're going to make some mistakes. You gain some things, you lose some things. But my big thing with this game, my big takeaway, I saw people trying to complain about Mario Cristobal's timeout usage, and I thought he did a good job. Like, I totally understood what he was going for. And I think that, you know, we saw it all worked out, and I think he made the right decisions there. I think part of that is because you have the 2-minute timeout now. So you're saving less time, right? Like, you can take a timeout at like 2:30, and it's like you're technically saving less time. If you just let it run down, then you keep your timeout and you have that for when you go back on offense. And in college, I feel like you do, like, those timeouts that you have on offense for your 2-minute drill are actually quite valuable. Like, if you can save that, if you can trade a little bit of time to be able to use that, that's good, because it opens up some stuff for you. It means that, like, you can actually use your timeout on offense if you need to reset, drop a play, that sort of thing. So I just want to say, like, I feel like people were giving him grief over that, and it's like, A, it worked, they won the game, but B, like, I understand the thinking behind it.
Yeah, this is sort of
can I go here real quick? Michael Irvin on all fours.
Yeah, weird as shit. I don't fucking know, man.
I really enjoyed it, but give me a separate stream that I could put on another screen. I want the Michael Irvin cam on, like you do the command center or whatever. Give me like Michael Irvin cam over here. If I want to see Michael Irvin, I'm gonna put Michael Irvin on the quad box or whatever.
Okay.
You don't need to subject the entire, you know, everybody watching the game, doing that. Just, you know, some people were like, I don't need to see Michael Irvin on all fours on the sideline. I enjoyed it. I really did, because it's ridiculous. Like, you just see how old is Michael Irvin? Do you know?
It's like he's like 50.
Old enough that I don't remember him playing football.
Yeah, I don't.
All I remember about Michael Irvin at Miami is he was number 47. Michael Irvin was born in 1966.
Okay, he's almost 60. Okay, he's almost 60.
He is. Yeah, he's not that much younger than my parents. Shout out to him.
See, here's what I think they should do, just for big games, like not for like every week, but if it's like a marquee game, like maybe it's like if game day's there, or if it's like a ranked on ranked, they should recruit a celebrity fan from each team.
Okay.
And just have them like going through their emotions.
Celebrity fan cam. Okay. I like
this. Like I don't know who it would be for each team. Maybe that's something that, you know, people can figure out, but I feel like every team should have like some guys that they can go to where it's like, yep, we need a notable fan to live and die with everything we do in the fourth quarter and have that featured on television.
I want to say a few more things about this game. Real quick, I'm glad Miami was able to pull out this win. I know I'm probably in the giant minority that this happened. You can all give me the U down. That's fine. But Miami is the fuck around and find out team this year. I thought it was Oregon. I thought it was Oregon, but Miami is going to keep fucking around, and they're going to find out eventually. I think this year, and yeah, because Jesus. God, like 25 points down the Cal. It felt like an insult to Miami that the Cal touchdown that put them up was a run by a former ULM quarterback, Chandler Rogers, who came in as the backup QB
North
for
Texas quarterback.
Yeah, ULM and North Texas combo pod here. You know, we had Sicko's committee energy in the Calgorithm here, which is incredible. But you know, Miami again, I feel like now they are the fuck around and find out team, and man, they got away with one. The crystal ball, like the timeout thing, which you kind of felt like it was going to bite them, but with the 2-minute timeout, what Arthur said, that I feel like not enough coaches are calculating that. They're still remembering when the clock didn't stop. So this is kind of, and same with the fans, with everybody on the timeline doing the same thing. I was like, hey, maybe it'll work out. Because I mean, like, you waste timeouts, you save like 2 seconds. You know, it's still going to stop. So you do that, and maybe you get the ball back with 1:50, and then you get a 77-yard pass to Restrepo that nobody was within 20 yards of him. I don't know how that happened, Cal. But, you know, that worked out.
Okay, folks, if you like what we do, go ahead and check out our Linktree, our Instagram, and Blue Sky profiles for all of our various discounts. Shout out to our friends at the Varsity app and the College Football Blitz. It's College Red Zone for college radio for 12 hours every Saturday. They cut back and forth. They were on the Vandy Alabama game a ton and going off to all the other games as well. So when you're out and about, that's what you need to listen to. If you check out our feed with this link every Saturday, if you post a picture of yourself listening to the Blitz or how you're listening to the Blitz, get a chance to win a free koozie from us. We have our Patreon for $5 a month. You get access to our Discord, which gives you access to things like our weekly ratings debates, live chats during games, get to see the inner workings of what we do. Our merch store has over 50 items, sickoscommittee.org. Our YouTube, our Instagram, our Twitch, our Substack. Shout out to Message Board Geniuses podcast. They go to the places where they talk about how Kalen DeBoer should stop wearing t-shirts, and that's why they lost. And as always, Home Field Apparel, the softest, comfiest, officially licensed collegiate apparel, retro from all the ages. I have a Pitt shirt. I'm wearing a hoodie that is Tulane. Arthur is wearing his Pitt hat. I see a Campbell shirt. And Kevin, what are you wearing?
Notre Dame's good.
Oh, Notre Dame. There you go.
Ashmore.
Home field, they're rolling out these like sweaters or jackets. I'm not even sure what they are, but
it's a pullover.
A pullover.
The college jacket, the coach jacket.
It's like the shiny like jacket.
No, it's
thing,
the pullover.
But it's a pullover.
I had one of those when I played baseball. We had one of those. It's kind of like it felt like it's a pitcher's pullover to keep your arm warm, whatever. But like you would have it for like baseball or like the football, and they have like the retro logos. They have the giant Purdue train. The Michigan State one, I'm like, oh god, the green is just calling me.
It's a great color.
Yeah, it's whew, God, it's good.
And use offer code yes, yes, 3 ha's for 15% off your first order. And our Sickos hat showcase. We have 2 hats a week that are for our big teams that are playing in a big game that week. The Indiana hat, hey, Hoosiers, going to 6-0, going to that bowl game. Snag that Buffalo hat. It looks awesome. Use offer code yes, yes. That's 2 hats for 25% off your first order, or any order. It is even if you've ordered before or not.
With Credit Karma, finding the right credit card for you is easy. Our app analyzes user profiles to suggest personalized recommendations, Visit creditkarma.com today to explore cards tailored to your needs. Credit Karma, simplifying your financial choices.
Okay, it's time to commit. 2024 is the year for prioritizing yourself. Begin your new smile journey with Byte, and you could start seeing results in just 2 to 3 weeks. Just order your at-home impression kit today for only $14.95 at Byte.com. Byte clear liners are doctor-directed and delivered to your door. Treatment costs thousands less than braces, plus they offer financing options, accept eligible insurance, and you could pay with your HSA, FSA. Get 80% off your impression kit when you use code WONDERY at Byte.com. That's BYTE.com. Start your confidence journey today with Byte.
Pitt Girl, how is North Carolina?
Woo! So this was Pitt's first ever win in Chapel Hill since even before Pitt and UNC were in the same conference. Pitt had been 0-7 in Chapel Hill. We are now 1-7. Let's fucking go.
Oh, hell yeah.
This is also Pitt's first 5-0 start since before I or Arthur were born. This is Pitt's first 5-0 start since 1991. Don't ask how the rest of the 1991 season went. We're not going to talk about that right now. Also, and the thing that I think in hindsight is like the most interesting thing. I don't know that it's interesting. It's just the thing that sticks out to me about this game is that this game was not like actually that anxiety inducing. It was anxiety. No, I know. Like as a Pitt fan, yes. But if you go back and look at it in hindsight, besides the pick six, it was never really that close.
I mean, that was
North Carolina. They had a drive early in the game where they drove all the way down the field and they did not get any points. They had converted a couple fourth downs already on that drive. They tried to do it again in the red zone and they didn't get it. And from there, Pitt was always like maybe a step ahead. I think it was tied going into halftime, which that was the funny stat for me, was that when it went into halftime tied, that was the first time Pitt as an ACC member wasn't leading at halftime in Chapel Hill. Again, Pitt had never won in Chapel Hill, but they led at halftime in all of the ACC games. That didn't go back to like when they did a home and home in like the 70s, but so there's like a I don't know, 5 or 6 games where Pitt led at halftime and lost, and they did not lead at halftime. It was tied. And, you know, they pulled away in the second half. I was like mentally prepared for them to blow it.
Oh, same.
Like when they got the game sealing sack, I screamed just in my living room because I was so surprised. Because North Carolina had the ball down 10. I was already preparing myself for the inevitable onside kick attempt when they scored a touchdown. And yeah, like they didn't do that. I don't know if like Mac Brown doesn't have the juice anymore or what's going on there.
I mean, that is the full story of this. Is I don't think Mac Brown has the juice anymore.
I think that's part of it. I think there's also, so this year's Pitt defense is not as good as previous Pitt defenses, but someone on Twitter pointed this out, and I think they're right in that this year's Pitt defense has sort of like Washington's defense from last year's energy, in that we're the Muppet Band and we're going to show up at exactly the right time. Gotcha. The Pitt defense arrives neither early nor late, but precisely when it needs to. Pitt had not recorded a single sack since the West Virginia game until they got the sack to close out the UNC game. And it worked, and we can't really be mad about it.
Yeah, I mean, Pitt as a whole does not show up until needed in a lot of games. But so Pitt, they were going into North Carolina. They were trying to do something they'd never done before, win in Chapel Hill. So I did something for the first time. I drank Alizé. I'd never had it before. I'd heard a lot of people talk about it because, like, I traditionally for the UNC game, I drank Mad Dog.
Yeah,
and I've always heard people talk about. I've always heard people talk about Alizé as like, oh, that's another cheap alcohol. So I bought a bottle. I drank some, and Pitt won in Chapel Hill. So, cheers to that.
You can hear the doom.
That's great. That's great Foley work.
By the way, North Carolina, shout out to North Carolina. You won the award this week for longest non-scoring drive of the week. This was, I think, their first drive. They went 19 plays, 81 yards in 9 minutes and 3 seconds, and a turnover on downs.
That should have told you everything for the game.
It was not their first drive. They had a 3-and-out for a punt.
Okay.
Prior to that. But yes, it was the first drive where they like really held the ball.
Yeah.
And it was amazing.
Temple 20, UConn 29.
Jesus
scratch everything. Let's go to the last play. Temple needs to get in the end zone to win this. They're down by
3.
By 3 at this point. They got to go.
There's 3 seconds left. They could kick the field goal to go to OT.
They're on
the 1. They go for it. Go for the win.
They go for the shove.
We'll go for that. So they're gonna go for the brotherly shove. They're gonna do it. And can you play that video?
Yeah, I can try. Let's see if it works.
Give it a shot. Because this has to be one of the most sickos endings of a game that I've ever seen.
Okay, let's see if we can get some audio.
Yeah. Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
The ball comes out. Wow. UConn gets the stop. They're going to run it back the entire way. The Huskies close this one out. Much Jordan Wright with the touchdown. UConn wins the game.
I mean, they are Huskies.
He was mushing the Huskies.
That's great. Temple fans, I'm sorry, guys. That one sucks.
So from the 10K Losses podcast, along with our friend Liam,
Hey, Liam.
Just screaming all over the timeline. And when you have Temple football yelling, things have this week was awesome. When you have like Temple UConn come down to something like that. One of our UConn followers.
By the way, his name is Tom. By the way,
one of our UConn followers mentions that walking out of the game, they went to social media, and there were UConn fans huddled around like somebody's phone, watching the replay of what occurred from our tweet, and it basically said, "You guys are massive. The committee is massive. We're all watching this tweet, like from us with the replay." I'm gutted for Temple. I'm happy for UConn.
It's tough to feel both things, but I definitely do.
I do. I'm like, UConn, way to hang on. Amazing goal line stand. Take it back the other way. That touchdown and non-kicked extra point could have been significant for some. On multiple over-under fronts, spread fronts.
You want to talk about another reason why I just don't gamble? I can't imagine a world where I'm mad at this play.
I can't. This has to be on like SVP's bad beats of the week. This play is coming up.
A world that like this play doesn't bring me utter joy is not a world in which I wish to live, basically.
So the thing about this is, as a person who is Temple sympathetic, what did Temple do to deserve this level of cosmic punishment? And I asked this question on my Twitter, and I got a couple people telling me Bill Cosby, which, like, okay, but also no.
Damn, that's a card to pull.
Jesus Christ.
God dang.
Like, actually, what did Temple football do? Because I don't think Temple football deserves this. And
this is being not on in the mouths of Satan kind of hell.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is like Temple football, Judas Iscariot.
So here's how I know that I'm washed. I would have just taken a knee. I wouldn't have run it all the way. That's too far. I don't want to do all that running.
USC 17, Minnesota 24. This is part of the.
Hold on. Apparently, Temple alums hauling oats.
Yes.
Okay. Man, I bet you all those fans were singing "Say It Isn't So."
Well,
God
maybe they should be the ones that are on the sideline getting the anxiety camera treatment.
Yes, hauling oats.
I can't
on
imagine
the Temple sideline. Just saying. And watching the game.
Bill Cosby.
They're watching the game, the Temple game, and Temple's losing, and they just simply say, "I can't go for that."
Temple anxiety and 2-part harmony. I'm here for that.
No can do.
No, yes can do.
USC 17, Minnesota 24. Gophers win this one. We're going to find out real fast that these Big Ten teams hate driving cross country because weird shit like this happens.
God.
I need to, at the end of the season, I need to look and see what happened, like what this thing's, if like more losses pile up the more time zones you go.
Yeah, so the current statistic about this is that the only team that has the only Big Ten team that has traversed more than 2 time zones that has won a game is Indiana at UCLA.
And they're the best team in the Big Ten, so you can expect
they are.
I mean, technically they are in the lead in the Big Ten right now.
Hey, listen, we will get to what FPI thinks of them this week.
I just want to say this real quick. Gophers, row the boat. USC can't handle the cold of 62 degrees in Minneapolis. USC can't handle the Big Ten West.
Alexa, play sweater weather.
That's right.
I mean, they did join the conference that's oops all Utahs after losing like 4 consecutive games to Utah, but
yeah, they signed up for
on you. This one's on you.
It is oops all Utah. Big Ten West is
I hated being beaten up with a sock full of quarters so much that I joined the conference with a sock full of quarters.
Now it's a pillow. It's just everybody has a pillowcase full of nails. Fuck you.
You got to provide your own nickels.
I'm only going to mention this game because it happened. Michigan 17, Washington 27. Rematch from the national title game.
The thing I want to talk about this game is the Washington fans making T-shirts about this game. Do not do that.
No,
no.
Do it. Whatever.
No, but also don't. It's a little sad.
Whatever.
I think
every school with a big win, make a T-shirt. I don't care.
But it's not a big win. Michigan is bad.
They're a nice color. I like the shirts.
Hey, is that Washington's first Big Ten win?
Yes, it is.
There it is.
So I feel like you're allowed. Yeah, okay.
It qualifies.
Fine.
Count it.
Syracuse at UNLV was our game of the week on.
Oh God.
Oh, your Pitt. There you go. Your Pitt special shirt.
That's right.
Oh, that's a good shirt.
This is our game of the week on Friday night. This was great.
I just want to say, because the listeners have no idea what's happening, I am holding up a shirt that I have grabbed from my dresser that says Pitt Special, September 21st, 2019. And on the back of the shirt, it has the actual like play on it with the score, Pitt 35, UCF 34. That's right. Pitt made a shirt for beating UCF in a non-conference game at home.
Okay.
I think if you can like have fun with it, you should make a shirt. But outside of that,
This game on Friday night was sort of a perfect thing for us. It was streaky as hell. 14-0 Syracuse, 21-14 UNLV.
31-21.
Right. It keeps like
just going back and forth, other directions. It was so incredible.
This goes to OT, and then there's some interesting officiating that keeps Syracuse alive, lets them close it out in OT.
Those ACC refs with the Syracuse bias.
Was it ACC refs?
I don't even know who the refs were. I was just making stuff up now.
It was a great game. This was a perfect game. It was, yeah.
If anyone can provide evidence to me of ACC refs showing Syracuse bias, I will provide a bounty of undisclosed cash amount for that.
Do you watch basketball?
These are WikiLeaks.
ACC football refs, to be clear. Thank you for clarifying, Arthur.
they play Miami the last game of the season, so we're gonna have.
It's gonna melt down. Rivalry week, Syracuse, Miami.
Dude, Honda McCord was phenomenal in this game.
He was
both bad and good. No airbag, one headlight.
Oh, this
Honda
thing was
McCord.
this was a junker. Every once in a while, like it would fire off. You'd be like, okay, well, this car's gonna keep going, and then oh god,
Cash for clunkers, Honda McCord.
He threw 63 times in this game.
Yeah, that's all he did.
Honda McCord, Valvoline, high mileage oil needed. 63.
Need the synthetic shit.
Jesus Christ.
I love this. This is great.
I'm going to give a shout out to LaQuint Allen for essentially doing two huge plays for LaQuint. Picking up that fourth down on the way to tie the game, where he was struck like so hard. And basically I was like, oh, it's over. Like he's tackled. It's done. And bouncing off and getting the first down. And then my old ass, when he gets the touchdown against the linebacker captain for UNLV, which Syracuse just had the ball so much here. They ran like so many plays. It was incredible that the UNLV defense was still hanging with them here. But the linebacker for UNLV meets LaQuint Allen essentially on the goal line, and it gave me like Brian Bosworth versus Bo Jackson vibes on that Monday night game where they met essentially on the goal line, and he just pushed him over enough and outlasted and got the touchdown for the win.
We're going to do, because I'm realizing we're not going to get to all these games, we're just going to highlight a couple of them as we go. I do want to give a big shout out to Jacksonville State 63, Kennesaw State 24. I know that game sounds like Jacksonville State like impaled them, and they did. However, Kennesaw State held it close for the first half. Also, Kennesaw State coughed it up 4 times, including 3 interceptions. Don't throw that. Jacksonville State had a school record of 8 rushing touchdowns. Kansas State hung with this better than I thought they were going to. Kansas at Arizona State, Kansas 31, Arizona State 35. This game was 108 at kickoff. It was 100 at Stanford, or like close to it. It was awful. I don't know how the folks up at Berkeley were surviving.
Yeah, it's never fun when the temperature sounds like an FM radio station.
That, you know what? That's not a bad rule of thumb there. Sam Levitt for Arizona State threw 4 TDs, including a last-minute one to get Arizona State over the line here. Kansas, the vibes are just not great this year. I don't think it's permanent. Arthur?
Is Kansas the new Nebraska?
Yes.
And that's a segue.
Yep. They are.
Ooh.
Because Nebraska won a 1-possession game.
Hey! I didn't know they were allowed to do that.
The shirts.
It wasn't pretty. Nebraska 14, Rutgers 7. This was Verdun worthy. This was World War I in the trenches, mustard gas. Like, Rutgers went 2 for 14 on third downs. I need you to get that in your soul. Nebraska went 7 for 19. Not much better. Rutgers also threw 2 interceptions.
So this is giving the same energy as the ACC getting rid of divisions has caused the Coastal to break contain.
Yeah.
The Big Ten getting rid of divisions has caused the Big Ten West to break contain.
It's just quicksand everywhere.
It's all Big Ten West.
And the minute you start struggling, like the boa constrictor just eats. Yeah, you sing.
Just the further down into the quicksand pit you go.
Just not great. Hawaii 24, San Diego State 27. Hawaii almost pulled this one out.
They had a shot to tie it, but they passed up the 48.
I don't like that.
They passed up the 48-49 yarder, which I don't know if the kicker's got a leg for that. I don't know. And they went to get it and they missed it, and that was it.
One of my shocking results of this weekend, and it's not going to ping other people's, East Carolina 24, Charlotte 55.
East Carolina's down bad.
I didn't think they were. We had conversations on this podcast where I was like, oh, they're shit again. And y'all were like, oh, they're not that shit. But
no.
This is when transit properties get wild. I love this time of year.
Okay. What do you think East Carolina's record is right now?
They're 3-2.
3-3. What do you think Charlotte's record is right now?
Oh,
they have 2 wins.
Is it 2?
3-3?
They're probably 3-3 as well.
They're both 3-3. So yes. This tells you nothing. But I just want to give a shout out to Charlotte. Also, Charlotte, they tagged us in so much of their celebrations on Instagram. So I had to thank them. Thank you so much. They said they loved us in the message. So we have a lot of Charlotte highlights on the Instagram. They did the meme from Deadpool and Wolverine?
Yes.
And you guys tried to say the vibes were bad there.
Yeah, they were just like, no.
I'm wrong, apparently. Fuck it.
Well, I mean, they won 2 games in a row. We named them Game of the Week, and now it's 2 in a row since they've been our Game of the Week. So Biff is riding the Sickos Committee bump, and oh Lord, I'm about to make a name for myself today. They put us in one of those memes. Incredible. They had. Every time I looked at this game in the quad box, it seemed like Charlotte was scoring another touchdown. They had a 62-yard touchdown run, a 23-yard touchdown run, a 65-yard touchdown run, a 53-yard pick six, and basically all of those were in the second half.
Indiana 41, Northwestern 24. 6-0 Indiana, the first bowl team eligible. The new bowl season graphics are like paint on brick. I kind of like the look.
Well,
are they new shirts?
I don't think so. I think they've scrapped the shirts because Indiana and Miami are the first 2 bowl eligible teams. Indiana, by the way, first team bowl eligible because they did it like 12 hours before Miami did it. But they have this new brick graphic, and neither team that won got shirts. In the past, they haven't done shirts for every team. It's just been like teams that they were able to get the licensing for. Like, I don't think Ohio State ever got a bowl shirt. But which imagine Ohio State fans.
Home field holds the license for the bowl bound shirt for Indiana.
I don't know. But there's a shirt. See, this is our shirt episode. We're just talking about making t-shirts now. But
making t-shirts, folks.
Like, the new graphic would not translate well to a shirt, I don't think.
No.
So maybe that's why they scrapped the shirts. They got a new graphic and they were like, oh, we can't just put this on a shirt anymore.
Airbrush it. Airbrush the brick.
Arthur, how much does FBI like Indiana?
Okay. So can you use the soundboard to make the sound we use for coin flips that's not actually a coin? So do you guys think, I'm just going to ask this one thing. Do you guys think FPI thinks Indiana is better or worse than a coin flip to make the college football playoff this year?
Better.
I feel like it's like 48% or something.
It is 51.5%.
Uh-huh.
Indiana now up to 14th in FPI. And like, the only teams ahead of them in national championship probability are like the teams that you would expect to see there. Like, I guess like Oregon has never won a national championship. Ole Miss has never actually won a national championship, but it's like the heavy hitters and Indiana. Like, that's the club they're in. By the way, Indiana, just for the record, 1.4% chance to win the national championship now, according to FPI.
Jordan, can I get the Taco Bell ding, please? Thank you.
Virginia Tech 31, Stanford 7. Our friend Marissa was at this game. She had to watch this.
Okay, but she got to see the Stanford band.
Yeah.
So I am on record loving the Stanford band because I also did scatter band shit. They had a halftime show that everyone was like, what the fuck is this? It was someone dressed up in a cardboard Cybertruck. It's great. The script is online. Like, you can read the script. It is standard scatterband script, like just jokes. It's not that funny, but we're not supposed to be funny. It's fine. Every scatterband has the one show, the one where you get banned from where you're going. Dartmouth's band was banned from Holy Cross for like 40 years.
They actually put out a tweet that said that we may be banned from Twitter for this, and honestly, they could be. It's there in our podcast discussion. I'll throw it in the chat.
I mean, I like that the Cybertruck is such a good like punching bag. It's funny to see one on the street and then see people laughing at it. Like, have y'all had that experience?
Yeah. People burst out laughing.
Oh my god, it's like, wow, that's actually a real thing. Someone spent like 6 figures on that.
We've talked about this on this show, but like it is truly the anti-Volkswagen Beetle in the sense that like I drive a Beetle and people are excited to see it and little kids play punch buggy with each other. And they're just like, it's good. It's a good car. It makes people happy. The Cybertruck also makes people happy, but in the sense that they get to point and laugh at it.
Sam Houston 41, UTEP 21. 5-1 Sam Houston. They are one game away. Like that is, I am so happy for Sam Houston this year because they are just wrecking shit. Texas High School Football Life, who we follow, has Sam Houston, I think, is the 4th or 5th best FBS or college football team in the state. I don't know if I'm going to go that far. That seems a little spicy, but okay.
The coach for Sam Houston, he was so angry the entire. He just looked so mad, and they're up like 38-7, just furious. He was just like, just so mad. I'm like, you're up 38-7. He's still just angry, and I'm like, okay. I can see how they won a FCS title with this guy. He's just so focused. But again, 5-1, amazing.
Virginia 24, Boston College 14.
This one was BC had it 14-0, and then that was it. That's how they scored. They were up 14-0. That's it.
Just shut it down.
Virginia just started doing this chip away thing. It was like 14-3, 14-6, 14-9.
God, that feeling when your team just like they've scored all their points for the week and they're done. And you feel it in your fucking stomach, and you're just waiting for the other. Oh God,
14-9. It's 14-9. You're like, what do you? Okay, we need some points here. And then all of a sudden, 17-14. Virginia's up. Then Virginia gets a scoop and score, and that's it, man. Like Virginia scored 18 points in the fourth quarter. Ugh. UVA. Guess who's 4-1? Anthony Calandria. 4-1 Virginia.
So Thomas Castellanos ended up going 22 for 30, 254 with 2 TDs and 2 interceptions. Interesting to see how his Detmer numbers work because that's a fucking great performance. Bowling Green 27, Akron 20. Oh, Akron, you almost had this one,
but also Bowling Green.
Bowling
Green, pretty good actually.
Best 2 and 3 team in the country. I'll fight that one.
Mm-hmm.
You know what really hurts for Akron here is that it's 4th and 2 at Akron's 31, and then they have Bowling Green has the all-world tight end Harold Fannin Jr., who's just putting up numbers incredible. They run him on 4th and 2. And he runs 31 yards for the game-winning touchdown.
Yeah,
and it's just like you're running with your tight end, Bowling Green. I love you so much.
Houston at TCU. Houston 30, TCU 19. What the fuck was this?
Amazing.
What the fuck was this?
TCU, amazing. Are you okay?
No.
Houston had scored 52 points all season. They'd been blanked 2 weeks in a row.
Well, so Houston, I think they either score a bunch of points or no points. Because if you remember before they scored their back-to-back shutouts, they scored 33 against Rice. So maybe they're only good against teams from Texas. Maybe it's just either like we're going to give you 30 or we're going to give you nothing. Maybe it's something like that. I mean, honestly, like the Big 12 is like, this is just weird. You know, there's some teams that might be good, but I feel like every Big 12 team is capable of losing to pretty much every other Big 12 team. And I'm not going to try to reason with it. I'm not going to try to make sense of it because that is the fool's errand.
All right, I'm going to make sense of this one.
Okay.
All right. Houston's defense has already been pretty good, right?
Yes.
They've been pretty good.
The better side of the better unit.
The better side, again, like they held Oklahoma to 16. Like Iowa State won 20-0, but it was 20-0. So their defense has been good. Like they haven't gotten really, really, really too beaten up, too bad, since he won 34-0, but whatever. Willie Fritz needed some Cajun spice in his life. So he went with the transfer quarterback from the Raging Cajuns, Zion Chris. And that was his first start for Houston. And, I mean, really, 15 for 18, 141 yards passing and a touchdown, 11 carries, 97 yards for a touchdown, 8.8 yards a carry. That's Willie Fritz needs a little spice in his life. Ooh-wee.
Love that chicken from Popeyes.
5 TCU turnovers. That's your story right there.
Yeah.
We can discuss this later, but I really want to have
four TCU turnovers. I apologize.
My bad. We need to have the discussion of is Sonny Dykes a good coach? We're not going to have that discussion now.
Unclear at this time.
But like I don't know the answer to that. Nevada.
The Sonny Dykes stock is a roller coaster.
It very much is.
Buy low,
Sonny Dykes is
sell high. Buy low, sell high with Sonny Dykes. So like,
no, we're not having the conversation now. We're not having the conversation now.
Okay.
TCU went to a national championship game.
No, we're not.
Huddle. Sonny Dykes huddle.
Okay, Nevada 31, San Jose State 35. Commish, what did you do with this game?
I just a note to myself that San Jose State is in San Jose, not Reno, because I tweeted we're tied up in Reno, and I'm looking at the end zone to San Jose State, and so I did the edit button. I was like, note to self: San Jose's nickname is also Reno. I just made up that fact.
I was gonna say that you confused the TV show 911, which is set in California, with Reno 911.
Totally. That's what had to happen, Arthur. But no, Ken Niumatalolo, 4-9, Niumata logo.
4-1.
4-1. Not 4-9.
4-9 would be not a great year.
No. Only one turnover in this game. And it was Nevada with 8 seconds left turning the ball over to end the game, and San Jose State wins it. Jesus Christ.
I mean, and that it wasn't like a real like bad. It was just like, oh, we got to chuck it into the end.
It was a 4th down, like we got to chuck it, and so it was just like that was the only turnover in the game.
Duke 14, Georgia Tech 24. Undefeated Duke goes down. Of all the teams, Duke felt maybe Rutgers felt the most like I don't know if I buy this. Duke went 3 for 11 on 3rd down and let Georgia Tech get 412 yards. Can't do it.
Yep.
Wake Forest 24, NC State 30. This was like
this was the Blitz special for me. I was watching this one on the I wasn't watching this one. I was trying to get my baby to sleep and wouldn't sleep. So I drove from like San Antonio to Castroville and then back. And basically listened to the Blitz the entire time. And this was one of the games that was on the Blitz special. Like NC State took the lead late, and they're like, Wake is driving. We're going back to Wake. I'm like, all right, Hank Bachmeier.
Yeah, just for the record, that was a typo. I looked it up just to make sure because I was like, wait, this was NC State's
sorry, my bad.
Loss on the CW.
Wake Forest 34, NC State 3. My bad.
Yeah.
Because NC State.
I was very confused.
My bad. Sorry about that. Yeah.
You put Wake wins in the notes. I was like, what?
Grayson McCall is okay.
Yeah.
Good.
So he took a big hit. He is okay. As Arthur said, this ruins NC State's perfect record on the CW.
Yeah, they fall to 5-1. Wake. Whew.
I mean, way to bounce back from losing to the Raging Cajuns.
I know. Wake is 2-3. Wake has Clemson next, so good luck, Wake.
West Virginia 38, Oklahoma State 14. Beth isn't here to cheer about this, but they rolled. Oklahoma State's 3-3, but 0-3 in the Big 12. Hey, Pitt Girl, should they extend Neil Brown?
They should. And also, I think this is why Beth might maybe not be cheering about this game, because West Virginia seems like they might be on pace to do exactly the same thing that they did last year, where they're good enough to not fire Neil Brown.
Until this game, I had been looking at West Virginia's schedule and said, like, oh, that is a difficult schedule for them. Like, they're going to probably be a better team than you might think.
Mhm.
And just this game, like, it just flipped for me. And now I'm looking at their schedule. Like, they got a lot of opportunities. Like, they host Iowa State. They host Kansas State. Like, they could go from, like, oh, no, we're not going to be able to foul Neil Brown to, like, oh, they're actually doing something.
They ran for 389 yards.
Yep. A double overtime thriller. Colorado State 31, Oregon State 39. Texas Tech 20.
I wore the Beavs shirt.
Yes, you did.
And I wasn't a jinx, so thank you, Oregon State. Congrats on beating Colorado State, your future conference mate.
Texas Tech 28, Arizona 22. I'm not going to talk about my stupid tweet. I'll skip that.
Look.
Oh, no, you're not going to face accountability.
Whatever. Like, I was so tired and so just like out of it at that point. I don't even remember tweeting it. I reread it this morning.
The thing that was good about that tweet was all of us just being like, what the fuck do you mean by this?
What
And by all of us,
mean?
I mean
I
Brett
know.
McMurphy.
And Scott Van Pelt.
Or Scott Van Pelt. Yeah,
was like,
whatever.
what do you mean by this?
I don't even know. I was so goddamn tired.
I think that was it. Like, Jordan was just like done. I was like, this was Jordan's last tweet
You
of
got
the night.
passed out. Yeah, I think I passed out.
He didn't even say anything. I'm going to bed. It was just like, that was the tweet. And then he was like, I don't know what I said. And then I feel like
I was trying to make a point. I don't know what it means. It gets the people going.
It's provocative. It gets the people go. It did get the people going. Mostly Texas Tech fans that wanted to peg us with tortillas. But no, Texas Tech. This game was so stupid. This oh my god, it was 19-18 at one point, and it was 18-9, and it looked like everybody had nothing but field goals, but only Arizona had nothing but field goals. This game was so stupid, but Texas Tech wins it. I don't know. Again, the Big 12 is a mess. I can't tell you what's going to happen from week to week, and I love it.
I like these kinds of late night out in the West things. This one, again, kicked off in, like, I want to say Tucson was at 100 and whatever, even though it was late in the day. Not loving that. Folks, just to make sure we have time to talk about what we want to talk about, we'll hit pause here, Arthur. Everyone find one game or two that you absolutely want to hit and make sure you clock that. We'll try to do two for each person, but I just want to make sure we talk about the ones that we absolutely want to talk about. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let me get back into it then. I'll start with mine so you have time to think. We're going to cover a couple more games here. Each of us sort of talking about the ones that we love the most. I'm going to pick kind of a big name one here because of a funny chyron. Clemson 29, Florida State 13. Katie, our friend Katie, caught the chyron on the most bleak chyron I've ever seen. Florida State, what's at stake with a win? Restores hope and respect. Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm.
Like, maybe I'll make my dad love me again. Oh,
that was so grim.
It really was. However, we have good news from this Florida State game, and that is that Florida State book guy has returned.
Huzzah.
He's back. And just as shirtless as ever.
Yep.
Like, I feel like that's a fun thing to do, like, to have as your thing. Like, now this is his thing. Like, it was one thing, like, he did it once. I feel like now, it's just like, yeah, like, I got another book to read. Might as well go to the Florida State game. In terms of, like crowd shots, like people in the crowd, I feel like Florida State is number one of all, like, fan bases. And I mean, to make your mark there, to be memorable, like, it takes a lot. That's a high bar to clear, and he did it. I love it.
Gotta be glitter guy or shirtless book guy. There's two kinds of fans.
Yeah, it's inside you. There are two Florida State fans. But yeah, I feel like it's them and Tennessee, because I just think about the Tennessee fans that said, ooh, we Vaki Teps.
Yeah, it's something.
Mm-hmm.
They said something.
It was misspelled, yes.
Have you
The
ever
hockey tips people.
have you ever been to a college football game and seen someone reading a book?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
No.
No.
Yeah, I have.
Ivy Leaguer.
No, it wasn't at those. Well, okay, so there were those at those games because people did homework in the stands. But that's not what I'm talking about. It was someplace else.
For mine, it was an Eastern Michigan couple where like I think the husband was the only one interested in the game, and the wife was like reading her book while she accompanied him to the Quick Lane Bowl.
Oh, God bless her.
Mish, what's your game you want to talk about?
I got two.
Give me one. We'll go to the second one.
SMU at Louisville.
Yeah,
this was another one that I was listening to on the Blitz special. SMU wins the game. They win 34-27 over Louisville. I just want to, they won the game, but I just want to shout out the SMU radio team because the radio announcers were just so nice and just incredibly happy to be there. They were just like, golly gee, this sure is a great game. They had a fumble, and the announcers were like, "We hope we see something on the review to overturn it." And then the SMU player was down, and they were just incredibly gracious about it. Like, "Oh wow, can you believe this is such a great game? This is amazing."
So
it was just like, ACC, thank you for having us. We're just so glad you let us play in your club. Energy. The entire broadcast was so delightful. It was refreshing. I just had to shout out that one.
Pitt Girl?
On the other side.
Oh yeah, you do both?
If you want to go through, yeah, I'll do both. On the other side, Tulane 71.
Oh my God.
UAB 20.
This is a crime.
Really?
It's a crime. Oh,
Look. Tulane just put it up, and they were trying to kneel it out, but Trent Dilfer called 2 timeouts.
John Summerall had words for him.
I was just like, hey, we're just trying to end this game. And South Florida let Tulane just basically end the game. And Trenton was like, no, I am down 70-20, but I'm going to use my timeouts because I cannot take them with me. And it's just like, you're down 51. Why? End the game. I don't know.
Pitt Girl?
So we have to talk about Tennessee at Arkansas.
Oh, we do. Yes.
Yeah, if only because Tennessee 14, Arkansas 19.
Oh my God.
Egg. Alexa, play Harry Styles calling the Hogs.
Alexa,
what would happen if I called the Hogs?
You would embrace them?
This is the first half. Like Tennessee had like all the, Arkansas had all these yards and came up with like 3 points for it. It was so painful to watch them try to do anything with this game.
Spinach.
Yeah, I don't do halftime numbers for Spinach just because there's no really good way to output it, but I'll have to go back and find that and just take a look at it because it was like 350 yards and 3 points. Like it was tough.
It was ridiculous.
That's some spinach.
I want to shout out our Discord for coming up with Hog to Go for this game, like complete with like more lyrics than just that.
HOGTOGO.
Hey girl, what are your games?
No, that was it. That was really the one that I wanted to hit. Although Arthur has correctly pointed out in the chat that we need to talk about the fact that Army 2 is no longer Army 2 because Air Force finally has a passing touchdown.
God bless.
Did they have any other touchdowns?
No, that was the only touchdown they got. They just wanted to be called Air Force again. They just wanted to be called Air Force again.
I am also required to mention that friend of the show, my dad, texted me specifically about this and said that we should be calling Air Force, formerly Army 2, Army Air Corps this whole time, not Army 2, as that is more historically correct.
Oh,
thank you. Kevin, what are your games?
The only one I have left was Louisiana Lafayette at Southern Miss. The Cajuns won 23-13. Things worth pointing out in this one, Southern Miss plays ULM next. Both of these teams are currently behind ULM in the Sun Belt West standings as well. And
Everyone's buying ULM
Cajuns,
and Sunbelt things.
this is true. And the Cajuns also joined the ranks of our teams that have kicked a 19-yard field goal on the year, which is my new obsession.
Yeah, I think that's kind of our thing. Like, who
I like that.
If there's anything shorter than that, but it's a maybe I've seen like a 17-yarder at one point in like FCS, but
there are a few 18-yarders in the CFB database output, which I guess is technically going to be kicked between like the goal line and the one.
It's the one. Yeah,
it's an 18-yard drop,
yards back or 8 yards back. Yeah.
So yeah.
I do need to mention Missouri 10, Texas A&M 41.
Oof.
They just beat that ass.
Yeah.
Just beat that ass for 4 quarters. Doubled them up on yards. So you're like, oh, Mizzou must have fucked up and committed turnovers. No, man, 0. Nothing. Just beat that ass up and down the field. That's it.
So it kind of turns out that you need someone who can get Luther Burden the ball.
Yeah, you kind of do. Brady Cook is not it.
No.
Arthur, what's your game?
Well, yeah, I just want to talk about a player, Ashton Genty. Just so we might be running into a problem here as Boise State gets into conference play where they are just beating teams by too much. Thanks to Ashton Genty for him to get great numbers. I mean, don't get me wrong. He had 186 yards and 3 touchdowns.
On 13 carries.
On 13, he only got 13 carries. Yeah, he only played a half.
Jesus.
I mean, if they don't do stats this way, like they just do stats on a per game basis. Like if you go to like a per half basis based on the games where Boise State has been winning by so much that he doesn't play in the second half, like my goodness. But he's already over 1,000 yards rushing. And they're 5 games in, and again he's missed.
He's been pulled at halftime in 2 games.
Yeah. So
Portland State, I'll say that maybe like a quarter. Like after a quarter, they pulled him.
They were like, you're good. We do not require your services for the rest of this game. I mean, it was like
don't catch the whooping cough.
Boise, yeah, man, you don't want to do that. Boise State, like they put up 62 overall. They did give up 30. Like this game got into kind of a like lazy second half type thing where, points were kind of flowing just because it was so uncompetitive that, it's hard to stay locked in. But like just looking at the numbers, I mean, people I think have started to talk about Ashton Genty getting a Heisman invitation. And
it's wild that we're just now getting to that point.
No, well, if my dude keeps up at this pace and is not in New York, we should riot.
But again, if he doesn't make it, we're going to attribute it to him being so good that he doesn't get a lot of carries simply because he only needs 1 to go to the end zone. But honestly, I'm watching Boise State games now, and I am annoyed when Boise State ran a kickoff back for a touchdown. I was so ready. I was like, man, we're about to get more Ashton Genty. This was in the first half, I think, so they hadn't pulled him yet. But I'm like, man, it's Ashton Genty time. Let's go. They kick off, run it all the way back. Boise State's defense is back on the field.
He had his 8-yard TD run brought down his average.
Yeah.
It's hurting his numbers to do anything within the 10. That's a wild statement. That's fucking wild.
It's fine. I don't want to bring up random people saying dumb shit on the internet. But I saw someone say something if you just take out his 40 best runs or something, then he's only averaging this many yards a carry. And I was like, I don't know, man. It's breaking the way that I look at numbers, the way that I look at football.
In FCS, important games to talk about really quickly. Weber State upsets ranked Montana 55-48 in overtime. The last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 drives of this game ended up in scores. The last 5 ended up in touchdowns.
Yeah, this was one of the games where you would tweet and then somebody below like, hey, something else just happened.
So touchdowns at fourth quarter at 8:39, 5:28, 4:37, 59 seconds, and 0. They got it to overtime for a field goal. Jesus Christ.
Big Sky bangers.
Montana scored 25 in overtime. Sorry, not 25 in fourth quarter. That's just bonkers. Idaho beats NAU, Northern Arizona, not North American University. I confused that twice. They held on barely. The Kibbe Dome 23-17. Northern Arizona was ranked, so this is a good ranked on ranked fight. Walk-off winner for Idaho State beat Cal Poly, ranked Cal Poly, I believe.
No,
they weren't ranked. Okay,
no,
it was someone else's ranked. Then I'm confusing.
UC Davis is ranked.
That's why
Cal Poly is not ranked. They had the crazy horse on their helmets.
Oh yes. Also, the Idaho State's first win at Cal Poly since 2003.
Yeah.
Stephen F. Austin takes home the new trophy against Northwestern State. They have put up the Chief Cotto Trophy. Got retired. This new one is the same height and weight. It's 320 pounds, 7 foot something tall. And it actually looks a lot better than the diagram they put out. I like the way it looks. I was not sure about that when they put the picture out. Other game, Tarleton State winning in overtime against Southern Utah. They kicked Southern Utah missed the extra point in double overtime.
In first OT.
Sorry. It is like the worst way to lose a fucking overtime.
That's
did that against Florida State. It's very bad. ULM lost 1 point. Again, 1 point losses ingrained. I was like, go for 2 in the win. No, let's kick the extra point, and we missed it.
Always go for 2.
This was nuts. Let me just run some things here. Marshall, 50 burger on App State to win there. Iowa State, 5-0 for the first time since 1980. I was not alive when the last time they did that. So yeah, crazy. We did the FCS game preview. We mentioned Northern Colorado at Montana State. I just said, Northern Colorado punter is really good. Montana State won 55-17. The punter, Hunter Green, had 7 punts with an average of 45.9 yards and a long of 60. If he's Hunter the punter or is he Punter Hunter, I don't know. But that is his nickname now.
Either of those is good.
Yes. Fun facts of the weekend.
What are our fun facts?
South Dakota Mines punter / kicker, Connor, what is your last name? I'm forgetting it. Connor Taylor, 81-yard punt.
Wild punt. Punt. Not the best punt. Texas A&M, we saw that from you.
Yes,
that was the punt that came straight, that landed on the one and came straight down the yard line.
The Joe Test call of the Texas A&M sexy punch.
Oh my God,
was amazing. And we got pylon punt cam, which was just phenomenal. That was great. But this one, 81-yarder, it went over the head of the returner, and it bounced at the 20, and then they basically downed it at the 3.
Yeah,
which was an amazing punt. He is also the kicker because this is D2. He looked like he was 2-2 on field goals also. A spinach game of the week. In FCS.
This is our team that has done the least with the most.
They have done the most to acquire the least.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So the most yards with not acquiring enough points. That is Southern Illinois, the Salukis, right? Versus Illinois State, the Redbirds. They had 10 points on 487 yards of offense.
Jesus.
And they lost to 45-10.
Ouch.
Spinach team of the week.
Bad.
In the FBS version of this, South Alabama had 16 points on 453 yards versus Arkansas State. They lost also 18-16, which was incredible. South Alabama scored a 26-yard touchdown pass on 3rd and 25 with 1:49 left to go up 16-15 15, but Arkansas State hit a 34-yard field goal with 10 seconds left to win the game 18-16.
18-16. Did they score 6 field goals?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
Let me check real quick.
Yeah, check that. Because that feels, I had the same vibes. Actually, you know what, Pitt Girl?
No.
It was. I'm seeing 3-3-3-9 for the box score.
Yeah, but they had a touchdown pass and they failed 2-point conversion to make it 15-10.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right.
There you go. Okay, folks, that is our week. We will see you on Thursday for our preview of week 7. And
That's
Arthur is, oh God, vaping. So cool.
Feel the rhythm. Feel the rhyme.
Listen, if I could
get on
a
vaping
cigar
time.
in
It's
here, I would.
vaping time? No, it's Warhawk time. Monroe, baby.